Is the world's largest podcast holder, Joe Rogan, softening his views on Christianity? Has he gone from atheist to agnostic to potential Christian? And has he softened this because the Spirit of the Lord is potentially working and moving in him? In today's video, guys, we're going to discuss what's going on with Joe Rogan, his podcast, and Christianity and the effect that it is having on him, as well as going to the scriptures to encourage us when it comes to unbelievers who does the saving. And so with this being said, guys, Joe Rogan has the world's largest podcast. Everyone from anybody really has heard it, listened to it, seen clips of it. And so he has quite the influence, not just in the martial arts, UFC world, or the comedy world, but just in everyday life world as well. And so he has really just had this platform for so long, and it's skyrocketed over the years. And in that process, he used to be real hard against Christianity and Christian beliefs and would call it fairy tale, hogwash. He would say it's dumb, it's stupid, it shouldn't be believed, it's fake, it's false. He would have very strong language against Christianity and the Bible and who Jesus is and who Jesus claimed he was. And so he had those opinions, but it seems like over the past few years, Joe Rogan's views on Christianity has softened quite a bit. And now he's willing to say that this is good for people to read. It's good for their mental health. It's good for people to cling to something like this. And so he has softened to the point of even having people on his podcast who seem to be pretty bold about their Christian faith, like Jordan Peterson, Stephen C. Myers, the Babylon Bee CEO as well, coming on there, and a few others who have been pretty bold with discussion topics of Jesus Christ, the bottle of resurrection, death, burial, all of that. The Bible, is it true? Can we believe it? The book of Revelation, which Joe Rogan actually was just reading on his most recent podcast, and as well as talking about abortion, which is a very hot topic in the world today. And so with this, there haven't really been too many minds changed. There has been some head turns, and Joe Rogan has come to agree with some points, but disagreed with others. But all in all, guys, we as Christians should be praying for Joe Rogan. We should be lifting him up in prayer, praying that the Lord would continue to do a work in him, and that he would have a desire, and maybe he already has, but that he would have a desire to bring somebody on his podcast like a John MacArthur or a Mike Winger or a Ruslan KD or an Alan Parr or Dr. James White, having guys who are way more sound, fundamentally rooted in the scriptures, that it would actually come up as a really solid discussion / debate. We should be praying that that could potentially happen, that Joe Rogan would have a kind of desire for that, because he's willing to talk to guys that are like Jordan Peterson, who's still on the fence, but until he has that real conversation with somebody who has a solid understanding and knowledge of the Word of God and has a solid relationship with the Lord, I think Joe Rogan's playing it safe as well. And so hopefully he gets out of that comfort zone soon enough and brings somebody on. But we should be praying, guys, and we should also be reminded what the scriptures say. And in John 6:44, it says this: "No one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him, and I will raise him up on the last day." And so when it comes to Joe Rogan, who's doing the drawing? It's the Lord doing the work. It's the Lord who opens up blind eyes and deaf ears. And so until the Lord opens up Joe Rogan's blind eyes and deaf ears, Joe Rogan's still going to be blind and deaf when it comes to saving faith, when it comes to the scriptures. But the Lord is working, and the Lord is sending people in his life that are having these discussions and these conversations and that are bringing it up. And so it is causing Joe Rogan to soften his views that he was once so hard against. And we can be encouraged by that. And so when it comes to Joe Rogan, let's be praying for him. Let's be praying for his soul.